Hey everyone, Magical Lover recording a little Legacy SOS replay. This one went 3. This was a good match. I started off, enough mana to run everything. The curve on this is pretty low. Get out hatching plans. I'm always interested to see Basic Island, Brainstorm. Then I see a Preordained, so this tells me I'm some sort of combo. Candelabra tells me I'm up against High Tide, so now I know all my removal is squat. I do O-ring the Candelabra just because I feel that's the enabler with High Tide that does horrifying things. I am needing to find a sack outlet pretty soon. I put a Reality Acid on one of his islands just in hopes of maybe putting a little pressure on him. He goes for the High Tide here. Still filtering and still searching, which I'm happy. Merchant Scrolls for more High Tide. Time Spirals. That's a new addition I hadn't seen in High Tide kind of Solidarity yet. Piece of the puzzle. Cunning Wishes for a Meditate, meditates, blah 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 blah. Time Spiraled again, and he fizzled. So, that was great. I won, he screwed up. Usually you don't get that far into a High Tide run and with combo off and fail, but apparently the 7 you drew was terrible. So, not going to complain. Got lucky with that one. Game 2. I've got a Chalice, so I'm happy with that. And I know Mono Blue plays a lot of ways, especially with Cunning Wish, wipe away, repeal, all the fun stuff in the sideboard. But I feel, at least this causes him to burn Tutoring on removal. The Merchant Scrolls for a Cunning Wish, so lets me know it didn't come in main deck. I get a sack outlet out. And I Parallax Tide here. Oh, excuse me, the first one I conceded. My apologies, I forgot about that. The first one I conceded. So the second one he concedes to the Parallax Tide, which would have nuked out his lands, and I had a lot of gas in the backup, so that was probably a pretty good call on his part. It also let me know that really didn't see much in the way of counters. So I'm thinking maybe he's playing a very just, counterless deck, no forces, no flusters, no swan songs, that kind of stuff. So I do have a sack outlet, I do have hatching plans, attunement, and Leyline's pretty nice. He goes for a piece of the puzzle. I get out an Ortog, get out a hatching plans. Don't bother sacking it now, just in case he's got some sort of crazy way to affect my hand. Excuse me. He's still filtering, so that's good. Lots of ponders, brainstorms. I go for the white source, go for Leyline here. Now the tempting, or Parallax Tide, he forces. Now I think if I did Leyline he would have forced anyway. But, either way. I attune, draw lots of good stuff, another Parallax Tide. Figure I'll go for Leyline this time, because that should at least buy me a little time. Ortog, sack the hatching plans, just trying to pressure his total as much as I can. Unlike some decks, Chalice on 0 doesn't do much. If you're a Reanimator, Chalice on 0 for Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, that kind of stuff is fun. So now I think I've got him pretty well locked up. I go for the Chalice first to try to shut off. And in response, and I don't quite understand, maybe it's just a desperation ploy. He Blue Sun Zenith for 3. It resolves. So now I get the Parallax Tide, and I guess if that resolved, he was in trouble anyway. So I am main decking Parallax Tide now, as it's just brutal. There are 2 in the main and 1 on the board for like a lands, heavy deck like lands. I am playing the Reality Acid main deck. There's just so much synergy between Detention Sphere and O-Ring and Reality Acid, and then recycling all of them. You can just, and especially Reality Acid does get rid of Planeswalkers as readily as Detention Sphere and O-Ring, so does need an enabler to get rid of things as opposed to just the regular ones. But I am finding Tide and Reality Acid main deck is wonderful. I did move the Chalices to the board. I do bring them in against Bug Delver, Rug Delver variants, just to try to pressure those ones or anything that relies on one CMC stuff. Anywho,